What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the decidedly debonair Dr. Disaster, and every once in a while something happens that gives me hope that maybe, just maybe, Xbox is not completely doomed. It's a welcome change, because of course, most of the time when I hear news about some decision of theirs, I end up looking at them and going, fool of a took. As an example, look at the character design they used for the main character in the upcoming Fable game. That right there is absolutely hideous, and I can't imagine wanting to use that character for 20 or 30 hours. Or look at the way the buffoons at Xbox have been letting Halo Studios wreck the brand by jumping headfirst into culture war shit over and over. This has resulted in shitloads of layoffs at Xbox, all of these bad decisions of theirs. So yeah, if we're not cursing their name for ruining franchises that we once loved, we are laughing in Xbox's silly faces. Microsoft has made some asinine choices for sure, but it would seem that at least they're learning that some games, no matter how much time and money they've invested into them, some of these projects are simply not worth pursuing because gamers will never buy into it.
I'm not interested.
Case in point, we have the game Contraband, which was first announced 4 years ago at E3, and now Xbox has decided to go ahead and cancel it, considering that this is a confirmed game that was worked on by the narrative consultancy Sweet Baby Inc., a company that relentlessly pushes identity politics into games, whether it makes any kind of sense or not. Well, they were proudly touting their involvement in the game, and now, considering that they were involved, and considering how poorly Sweet Baby Inc. games have performed this past year, including Tales of the Shire, which just recently flopped like crazy, well, it would seem that Xbox might have finally realized that they are never going to make any money working with these turds.
Join me.
No.
Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy.
No, man.
Come with me. It is the only way.
Shit, no, man. I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that, man.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, I've begun uploading some content onto Rumble, so make sure you follow Dr. Disaster over there. And don't forget to follow me over on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster1. I keep a list on there of games lousy with wokeness pinned to the account at all times for your reference, and undoubtedly, if Contraband had released, it would have been added to this list. Sweet Baby Inc. working on a game is pretty much a guarantee that it will end up being chock full of progressive slop to the point that it is unplayable, which I suspect this is why Xbox is partially moving on from the game Contraband. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to hear that there was some development hell that was going on as well with Contraband, which caused that game to be canceled, but the timing on this, moving away from this game, is too damn suspicious for me to consider it coincidental. You see, about a week and a half ago was the release of the latest Sweet Baby Inc. game, and as you can see from the Steam charts here, that game didn't exactly light the world on fire, with only about 6,700 concurrent players jumping onto this game at its peak. Despite using the Lord of of the Rings brand, which you would think that would net them a ton of automatic sales just for having the association with that brand. But despite that advantage, according to data that you can see here from VG Analytics, Tales of the Shire has only sold around 56,000 units, which is not good at all because, of course, now that the launch is past, the sales numbers are only going to slow down from here. And now it's worth noting that another Sweet Baby Inc. game released earlier this year, and this one was actually published by Xbox themselves, so Xbox has some first-hand experience as to how amazing it is to work with Sweet Baby Inc. They put out South of Midnight, which was a very ugly and bland-looking game, and it peaked at less than 1,500 players, and VG Analytics estimates that the game has sold about 94,000 units on Steam, considering that this was a AAA production published by a major company like this. Well, these numbers are pure dog shit. I simply can't believe that Xbox making this decision to cut ties with Contraband a little over a week after the flop of Tales of the Shire. I struggle to imagine that these things aren't at least tied in some part. Let's read the announcement though from IGN. It says here, Xbox has stopped development of Contraband to evaluate the project's future, with a Bloomberg report saying the game is canceled entirely 4 years after its initial E3 announcement. Bloomberg journalist Jason Shire first broke the news on Blue Sky today, saying that Xbox is canceling Contraband, announced in 2021 from Avalanche Studios after 4 years of radio silence, sources tell Bloomberg News. This was followed by an official confirmation from Avalanche on its website, which reads as follows: over the past several years, Avalanche Studios Group and Xbox Game Studios Publishing have collaborated on Contraband. Active development has now stopped while we evaluate the project's future. We're thankful for the excitement we've seen from the community since we announced, and we'll give an update on what's next as soon as we can. Yeah, this is just wishful thinking. The game is not coming back. After 4 years of hearing nothing, it is quite clear what evaluating the project's future actually means, especially considering all the layoffs that Xbox has endured over the past few years. These big corporations, though, they love to deal in euphemisms like this in order to avoid hurting feelings. But here is the tweet from Sweet Baby Inc. 4 years ago when Contraband was first announced. Back then, Sweet Baby was super upfront with all the projects that they were working on. They wanted the whole world to know what they were up to. It's funny how now, after Cabrutus Rambo started the Sweet Baby Inc. Detected website, bringing mass awareness to all the crap that these people were up to in the gaming industry, now they attempt to hide their work like rats scurrying in the dark. Several months ago, as many of you likely recall, Sweet Baby removed the spot on their website where they showed off all the upcoming projects that they were working on. They also removed the list of studios that they were working with. It was only deep detective work of gamers that allowed us to find out that their past few games, Tales of the Shire, South of Midnight, Unknown 9 Awakening, it was only internet sleuths that found out that Sweet Baby was involved with those games. And now, I speculated back then that this backlash from gamers who were refusing to buy any games that Sweet Baby consulted on, I speculated that the removal of the client list on the Sweet Baby website, I said that this is a company that is clearly losing and going to lose even more business as more projects of theirs collapsed and studios chickened out on working with them. Well, this cancellation of Contraband is exactly what I was talking about. Once again, I'm sure that some portion of the reason that Contraband has been axed is because there was some kind of development problems, there was likely some level of development hell. After all, we hadn't heard anything from this project in 4 years, but this announcement coming on the heels of Sweet Baby's latest game belly flopping on its launch is just too coincidental for me to believe that they are unrelated. Clearly, Xbox knows that if they pushed this game Contraband out, gamers would have circulated the knowledge that Sweet Baby worked on the game would have flopped, and they would lose money. That is why we have to consistently keep up the pressure, folks. We are making progress. I don't believe that Xbox has given up their push to add woke shit into gaming by any stretch of the imagination, but even they had to admit that Sweet Baby, at this point, it is just bad marketing. But I'm going to leave it there. Drop your contempt for Sweet Baby Inc. and what these types of people have tried to do to the gaming industry. Drop your contempt into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.